Hey guys, it's ExandShadow. Now, if I sound kind of quiet here, or if the audio's sort of grainy, it's 2:30 in the morning right now. I should be asleep, but I'm not. And, well, I've got my entire family asleep in this house, so I've got to speak somewhat quietly. So yeah, I apologize if there's any audio things. I'll try to fix it in post-production, but, I'm not perfect, and neither is Audacity. So anyway, this is somewhat old news, but it's news that's worth talking about. I would have talked about this earlier if I had the time to get to Audacity and time to make a ramble like this, but I haven't. But anyway, in case you haven't known, THQ recently said that they were going to shut down two studios in Australia, their main studio and Blue Tongue Entertainment. Now, if you recognize the name Blue Tongue Entertainment, you might. These are the guys that made the De Blob games. De Blob 1 for the Wii and De Blob 2, which came out on all three main consoles. Now, the official statement says that they are trying to steer development away from, quote, licensed kids titles and movie-based entertainment properties to push focus to high-quality owned IP with a broad appeal. So, in an attempt to push focus to high-quality IPs with an appeal to a large audience, you are shutting down Blue Tongue Studio, which made the De Blob games, which are a high-quality IP with a broad audience. I'm head-desking right now. Gah! What are you doing, THQ? What are you doing? You put 180 people out of a job so that you could push development away from the games you've always made. What? I'm pretty sure you've looked at THQ within the past 10, 15, 20 years, but all they've ever really made is licensed games. I know for a fact that they made the SpongeBob games and some Rugrats games. They've made a whole shit ton of licensed games. Not to say that those licensed games were all necessarily bad, like, some of the GameCube SpongeBob games were actually pretty good. But all they've ever made is licensed games. Except for De Blob. And now you're going to move away from that so that you... I don't get this. All they know how to do is this stuff, and they're moving away from it. Now, I can understand the push to want to make more original IPs as opposed to movie-based games. Nobody wants to be known as that company that makes the movie-based games, because, as you all know, movie-based games are usually garbage. But this is not the way to do it, and I'm not exactly sure that stopping making movie-based games is really a good idea. I mean, think about it this way. No matter what, these games are going to be made. I mean, Marvel is not going to let the Avengers come out without a DS, Wii, PS3, Xbox Avengers game to go with it. Warner Brothers is not going to let the Dark Knight Rises go without a game to go with it. No matter who makes it, they're going to get somebody to make these games. Now, THQ has been sort of the king of this for a while, and while I know developers, programmers, composers, directors might not like working on these sort of games, a job's a job, and in times like these, putting 180 people out of a job, not really the best move, THQ, I have to say. I mean, again, I can speak from experience that I hate crap. I have a crappy job right now, I hate it, but it's money, you know? And programmers, especially game programmers, jobs are hard to come by right now. So, in between the jobs that they actually want to work, working on a De Blob, they could work on a De Blob, maybe work on one or two movie titles in between while they're trying to find an actual good game to work on. These games, while they aren't good, they do serve a purpose, and they do get sold, they do get bought, and at least somebody's getting a paycheck about these. You never know, that a programmer who worked on a crappy movie-based game might have also worked on a great game. It's not often the programmer's fault that movie-based games are bad. It's the studio, it's the budget, it's the time crunch that they have to work under that really makes these movie-based games bad. So, I mean, they're not good, but they serve a necessary purpose, and you're trying to move away from that when, in reality, you're not changing anything. You're throwing away the only good IP you ever had, and you're putting people out of a job so that you could make less money. This does not seem like the best business decision, THQ. But yeah, what really pisses me off is that Blue Tongue, a talented studio, is getting shut down. Blue Tongue and the DeBlob games are some of the best stuff we've seen out of this console generation. They're unique, they're original, they're nothing we've really ever seen before, and they show promise. Yes, they're not perfect. No game is. But the DeBlob 1 set up an interesting premise that could be worked upon. DeBlob 2 worked upon that premise, upped it up, and made a couple of significant tweaks. Major fixes, actually. In a DeBlob 3 with some slight tweaks, a little bit more work, you could have a contender for one of my favorite games. At least one of my favorite games on the Wii. And instead, this game is never going to see the light of day because Blue Tongue is gone. I don't think there's any real chance of saving it at this point. I know that sounds really depressing and pessimistic, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta be realistic and see that, you know what? It's probably not likely. And now, I'm not just mad that DeBlob 3 won't ever be made. You know, I can deal. But the problem here is that THQ even decided to make this decision in the first place. I mean, again, yes, it's a good idea to make your own original IPs. One of my main problems with Sega, with Nintendo, with Capcom, with Konami, is that they haven't made anything truly new in quite some time. However, THQ, you can still make all of the stuff you've made before and make new games on top of that. Instead of making 4 licensed games this year, why don't you make 3? Put that other team on an original IP. Maybe make 2. You can sort of ease your way out of this. You know, put those developers who are probably talented, just given crappy jobs, put them on something where they can spread their wings a little bit. See what works, see what doesn't. But no, you're not doing that. Instead, you're just throwing studios away like they're trash, like they're garbage. You're eating the fruit and throwing the peel away. Yes, I did just make a Death of a Salesman reference. I don't get that. You're trying to push towards high-quality IPs with broad appeal, but instead of keeping DeBlob, which was one of the most entertaining games that I've played recently, that game had a great appeal. It's technically targeted towards kids, but me, the 18-year-old teenager about to go into college, I enjoyed it more than my 11 and 9-year-old little brothers. So yeah, you're taking away that broad appealing, high-quality IP, and you're just throwing it away. How much do you want to bet that when THQ releases its first big new IP, that it's going to be some gray-brown, boring first-person shooter, or maybe some red-brown beat-em-up a la God of War? It's just, THQ, why? That's the central question that I'm asking here. Why? But yeah, I don't think there's anything we can really do to fix this, but if anybody has any ideas, please, comments and video responses. If we can save DeBlob, if we can save Blue Tongue, more importantly, if we can save Blue Tongue Entertainment, that would make my day, and I'm sure it would make about 90 people over in Australia's day too. But yeah, oh yeah, before we go, Blue Tongue Entertainment has a Facebook page. I'm pretty sure they'd appreciate it if you sent them well wishes. You know, it's sad. They're probably depressed as hell about losing this studio. It probably means a whole lot more to them than it does to me. So leave them your well wishes. You know, and contact THQ actually about this too. If we send the message that this was a bad idea, something might be done about it. But yeah, it sucks that this has had to happen, but whatever. New videos will come when they come. I'm sorry about them being inconsistent, but IRL stuff gets in the way sometimes. But yeah, this has been ExandShadow, and I'll see you guys later.